Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome to Jinjin's Cosmic. If you didn't happen to be here, perhaps it's time to meet your soul. Dear Scorpio, let us begin not with a noise, but with a silence. There is a quiet that has been growing within you, hasn't there? It isn't the peaceful quiet of contentment. No. This is a heavy, expectant stillness, a silence that holds the weight of everything unsaid, everything unfelt, everything you've meticulously kept locked away. It's the kind of hush that falls just before the sky breaks open, a deep and profound pause in the rhythm of your life that tells you, with an unnerving certainty, that the reality you have so carefully constructed is about to undergo a fundamental and irreversible change. You've felt it. I know you have. It's not a dramatic crisis you can point to, not a single, identifiable problem. Rather, it's a silent struggle against a truth that is rising from the deepest parts of your soul, a truth you've spent years, perhaps a lifetime, trying to outrun. You've convinced yourself that control is safety, that as long as you manage every variable and anticipate every outcome, you are protected. But that fortress you built to keep the world out has quietly become an invisible cage, and the silence you're feeling now is the sound of its walls beginning to dissolve. This message found you for a reason. It is a sacred appointment with your own soul, because the universe is not sending you a warning, dear Scorpio. It is sending you a confirmation. The change that is coming is not happening to you. It is happening from within you. It is the eruption of your own suppressed power, your own buried truth. If you feel this deep, unsettling shift within you, I want you to affirm it in the comments below. Let's anchor this energy together. Right. My inner world is preparing for a profound truth. I too will. Stay with me, because what we are about to uncover is not just about the future. It's about liberating you from a past you didn't even realize was still holding you captive. This is where you finally understand everything. My dear Scorpio, there are moments in our lives that function as pivot points. But for a soul as deep and complex as yours, these moments rarely arrive with a gentle invitation. They do not knock. They arrive like a tectonic shift, a slow, grinding pressure that has been building for years deep beneath the surface, until one day, the ground gives way. The structures you built your life upon, the relationships, the career, the identity you presented to the world begin to show cracks. You might be looking at these cracks right now with a sense of dread. You may call it a loss, an ending, a failure. You may see the ruins of a relationship that you poured your entire soul into, or the hollow shell of a career that promised security but delivered stagnation. And your mind, in its primal need to keep you safe, will label this a catastrophe. It will scream at you to patch the cracks, to hold the walls up, to pretend that everything is fine. But your soul, oh, your magnificent, knowing soul, understands the truth, doesn't it? It knows this is not a random act of destruction. This is a sacred collapse. This is the universe, in its infinite love for you, finally answering a prayer you've been whispering in the dark for so long. You have prayed for truth. You have prayed for a life that felt real, that matched the intensity and depth of the world that exists inside of you. You, more than any other, are allergic to the superficial. You cannot live inauthentically without it feeling like a slow poison. Your very spirit is woven with the energy of Pluto, the great revealer, the cosmic force of death and rebirth. You were never meant to live a life of polite fictions, and the universe heard that prayer. It recognized that for a soul as powerful as yours, a gentle nudge would be an insult. You would explain it away, rationalize it, and continue to endure the unendurable. So instead, it has facilitated a controlled, internal collapse. A divine intervention designed not to break you, but to break open the illusions you've been living within. That relationship that felt like your entire world. Perhaps its cracking has revealed that it was built on a foundation of control, not connection. On dependency, not true intimacy. That career you clung to, its hollowness is showing you that security is not worth the price of your own vitality. The persona you adopted to be more palatable, less intense, more acceptable to others. It now feels like a costume you can no longer bear to wear. Let this sink into the very marrow of your bones. This is not a punishment. It is a liberation. It is the universe looking at you and saying, "My dear, powerful Scorpio, you have outgrown this reality. Your soul has become too magnificent for this container. I know you may not have had the courage to walk away yourself, so I will help the walls crumble, so you can finally see that you were never meant to be contained in the first place." In many ancient traditions, before a sacred temple could be built, the ground had to be cleared. Old structures, old energies, anything that was not aligned with the new purpose had to be removed. That is what you are experiencing. A spiritual ground clearing. The universe is not taking from you. It is purifying your space. It is shaking everything that can be shaken, so that only that which is eternal, unshakable, and truly you remains. You are not breaking down, my beautiful friend. You are breaking open. So hold this question in your heart as you walk through this time. If this isn't an ending, what is it the beginning of? What new truth is finally being given the space to grow? Because as the structures of your old life fall, something else is rising. A profound, quiet strength. A clarity that feels both startling and deeply familiar. You are remembering that you are the author of your story, not just a character reacting to its plot. And you are finally ready to pick up the pen. Now, as you stand in this raw, open space of truth, you may begin to feel that you are not walking through this alone. Have you ever felt it? In the dead of night, in that profound silence we spoke of, a sudden and palpable sense of a presence, a memory of a loved one who has passed that is so vivid, so real. It feels as if they are standing in the room with you. An unexplainable feeling of being watched over, of being guided by a force you cannot see, but can feel with every fiber of your being. My dear Scorpio, for you, this is not imagination. Your intuition is your native language. You are the walker between worlds, the soul who has always understood that the veil between the physical and the spiritual is far more delicate than most people realize. And right now, that veil is thinner for you than ever before. Someone who has crossed over a grandparent whose wisdom you still lean on, a parent whose love still feels like a shield, a dear friend, a soulmate from your lineage is reaching out to you. They are not sending you signals because they see you as weak or broken. It is the opposite. They are drawn to the immense light of your transformation. They see you standing in the crucible of your own rebirth, and they are here to act as your spiritual witnesses. They see you in the sacred fire, and they are not here to pull you out. They are here to whisper, "Keep going. We see you. You are more powerful than you know. You are not alone." Their communication is not in human words. It is coded in the language of the soul, a language you speak fluently. It's the recurring sequence of numbers you suddenly see everywhere on the clock, on a license plate, on a receipt. A sequence that holds a personal meaning just for you. It's the distinct scent of your grandfather's cologne wafting through a room where it has no logical reason to be. It is the specific song that begins to play at the exact moment a tear of release rolls down your cheek. It's the feather that lands gently on your path, or the hawk that circles overhead, seeming to look you directly in the eye. Please, hear me on this. Your logical mind will rush to dismiss these as mere coincidences, but your soul knows better. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations. They are sacred breadcrumbs left for you, love notes from beyond the veil delivered by your most trusted guardians. They are validating what you already feel in your bones, that this profound transformation is divinely orchestrated. In many spiritual beliefs, our ancestors and loved ones do not leave us. They shed the limitations of the physical world and become part of our spiritual council. They now see the grand tapestry of our lives with a clarity we cannot yet possess. They see the path you are on, and they are in awe of the courage you are showing. They see the magnificent destiny you are walking toward, and they are your most devoted cheerleaders. The grief you may still feel for their physical absence is not a weakness. It is the echo of a love so profound it transcends all dimensions. That ache in your heart is a homing beacon, and they are answering its call. They do not require elaborate rituals from you. They only ask for one thing: trust. Trust that feeling in your gut. Trust the shiver down your spine. Trust the dream that felt more real than waking life. When you feel that invisible hand on your shoulder, don't brush it away. Lean into it. Whisper, "Thank you." By simply acknowledging their presence, you open the channel even wider, allowing their love, their wisdom, and their strength to flow into you, fortifying you for the journey ahead. You are being reminded that love is the one force in the universe that death cannot conquer. It simply changes its form. But the next presence to enter your life will not be a whisper from the other side. It will be a figure from your past, walking back into your reality, in flesh and blood. And they are not returning by accident. They are returning to give you a final opportunity to claim the power you have forged in this sacred fire. Before we explore that, tell me in the comments, what is a sign you've received that let you know you were not alone? I want to read your sacred stories. Then, prepare yourself, because we are about to discuss the return of a soul you thought was long gone. All right, Scorpio, let's talk about power, and let's talk about the ghosts of relationships past. You believe you've buried them, don't you? You performed the autopsy on the heartbreak. You analyzed every mistake. You signed the death certificate on that chapter of your life. You sealed the tomb. You walked away from the person who betrayed you, who underestimated you, who looked at the universe of loyalty and depth you offered and failed to recognize its value. You journeyed through your own private underworld to heal from that. You sat with the venom of that heartbreak until you learned how to transmute it into an antidote for your own soul. You integrated the lessons. You did the work. And you rose again, certain that it no longer had power over you. And now, just as you are beginning to stand in the light of your own rebirth, a shadow falls over you. A name lights up your phone screen. A coincidental encounter in a place you both used to frequent. A message out of the blue. They return. Your first instinct might be a jolt of the old pain, a flicker of the old story. But I need you to listen to me very, very closely. They are not returning to the person they once hurt. They are returning to the sovereign you have become. This is not a second chance for them. This is a final examination for you. The universe is presenting you with this encounter to prove to yourself, once and for all, how profoundly you have changed. The person who is returning is not looking at the same landscape. The person whose heart they broke is gone, burned away in the sacred fire of your transformation. In their place stands a monarch on their own throne, a throne forged from the very pain that was once inflicted upon them. They may arrive with perfectly crafted apologies. They may speak of newfound clarity, offering you sweet words of regret. They may look at you with eyes that, for the first time, seem to actually see your worth. And it will be tempting, perhaps, to let them back into your world. There's a part of the ego that would love to prove you are over it by being gracious and open. But your new strength, your hard-won sovereignty, does not require you to reopen a door that you closed for a very good reason. True forgiveness, especially for a Scorpio, is not always about reconciliation. Sometimes, the most powerful and loving act of forgiveness is to release someone from your reality entirely. It is looking at them not with anger or bitterness, but with a calm, quiet, and definitive understanding that their chapter in your story is complete. You have the absolute right to look at them and say, with your energy, if not your words, "I see you. I acknowledge the role you played in my journey. The lessons have been integrated. The contract between our souls is now fulfilled. I wish you well from a distance." You owe no one a second chance to prove they can love you correctly this time. You owe them nothing. Your only allegiance now is to the magnificent, powerful soul you have become. And that soul deserves relationships built on the solid bedrock of your current worth, not on the shifting sands of a painful past. When this person from your past reappears, see it for what it truly is, a cosmic graduation ceremony. They are the final gatekeeper you must pass to step fully and completely into your new life. Will you allow yourself to be pulled back into the old dynamic, the old drama, the old power struggle? Or will you stand in your power, nod with the quiet wisdom of a king or a queen, and continue walking toward your own bright future without breaking your stride? For the first time, you will make this choice not from a place of wounding or a fear of being alone. You will choose from the deep, unshakable love and respect you now hold for yourself. And when you make that choice, when you close that final door with grace and finality, you will feel a surge of power so immense it will take your breath away. You will have passed your own test. You will have fully and completely claimed your throne. But what do you build? Now that you are so profoundly free, what does this new kingdom look like? That, my dear Scorpio, is the most exciting part of all. For so much of your life, you may have been searching for a home, not just a physical place, but a person, a situation, a feeling that could finally contain the sheer intensity of your soul. You sought refuge, you sought understanding. You searched for a fortress that could withstand the storms that raged both outside and within you. And now, standing in the cleared space of your old life, you have a profound realization. You were never meant to find a fortress. You were always meant to cultivate a garden. This is your true awakening. This is the moment you stop looking for a place to hide and start architecting your own sacred reality. The pain you endured was not a tragedy. It was the tilling of the soil. The heartbreak was not a weakness. It was the watering of the seeds. The loneliness was not a curse. It was the sacred silence in which you could finally hear the blueprint of your own soul's garden. You are the phoenix, and this is your rebirth. But you are not rising to build an empire of power and control. You are rising to cultivate an inner landscape of truth and beauty. The ashes of your past are not a sign of defeat. They are the fertile compost from which your new world will blossom. And what does this new garden look like? It is a kingdom of the soul, built on the unshakable foundation of your own truth. It is a realm where you are unapologetically, magnificently you. In this new reality, you no longer apologize for your intensity. You recognize it as the creative life force that it is. You no longer hide your depth for fear of being too much for others. You understand that your depth is your greatest gift. You no longer silence your intuition to appease the limited logic of the outside world. You honor it as your most trusted counsel. Cultivating this garden means making choices every single day that are in radical alignment with your soul. It means choosing the work that sets your spirit on fire, not the one that simply pays the bills. It means cultivating relationships with people who can meet you in your depth and are not afraid of your truth, not those who require you to live in the shallow end. It means creating a home that is a sacred temple for your spirit, a place where you can recharge your immense power without apology. You have searched the world over for a place to belong, and you have finally found it, right in the center of your own being. Every beat of your heart is the rhythm of your new life. Every breath you take is a declaration of your inner sovereignty. So take a moment, close your eyes, imagine this sacred garden of your soul. What does it feel like? What colors bloom there? Who is with you, tending to the flowers? What dreams, once abandoned, are now taking root in its fertile soil? That vision, dear Scorpio, is not a fantasy. It is a memory of your future. It is the destiny you are now stepping into with courage, with power, and with the full backing of the entire cosmos. You are not just rebuilding, you are blossoming. You are not just recovering, you are creating. The life you have always dreamed of is no longer a distant hope. It is the reality you are now cultivating with your own two hands. Right here, right now. My magnificent Scorpio friends, we have journeyed through the fire together, from the sacred collapse of your old life to the glorious cultivation of your new inner world. Embrace this moment. Surrender to the magic of your own becoming. You have everything you need within you, your strength, your resilience, your profound wisdom. These have always been your greatest assets. And now is the time to use them to create a life of unparalleled beauty and truth. This is your time to thrive. The universe is not just on your side. It is conspiring in your favor, clearing the path for your triumphant return to yourself. Now, I want to hear from you. This has been a deep and powerful journey. What part of this message resonated most deeply with your soul? Where are you in your own process of transformation? Share your story, your insights, your declarations in the comments section below. Your story is a beacon of light for another Scorpio walking this same path. By sharing, we tend to our gardens together, supporting one another as the powerful creators we are. And of course, if this journey has served you, please honor it by subscribing. There is so much more to explore together. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for allowing me to witness the breathtaking beauty of your rebirth. Remember, you are the creator of your reality. You are the gardener of your own soul, and you are destined for a life that is as deep, true, and beautiful as you are.